Hi friends, and welcome back to Lemon Tree Corner. If you're new here, my name is Heather and we do crafty things here. I have a handmade business where I make purses and project bags like this. And I also crochet and scrapbook, and so this is a very crafty channel, so welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. We are back in the studio this week after a lovely vacation. And since I kind of busted my butt earlier in the year making all the bags for this show, we really just have the little stuff to do. So I'm going to take it easy. This weekend I'm going to do all the laundry from the trip and organize everything. I've got my table is covered with stuff I have to put away and unpack. Yeah, I'm just getting ready for the work week. And then we got all the coin purse fabric along with some of that Christmas fabric that we're going to turn into these sachets. So I will work on those little by little throughout the coming week, but this weekend is all chill. And since we just got back from vacation, I wanted to share with you some of the goodies that I brought back. I already showed you the yarn out at the cabin, but I also stopped by the quilt store and picked up some fabric. I also picked up this cute darling mug. Isn't that cute? It's all quilt pieced. Very cute. And on the back it says, "Quilts are a blessing that warms the heart and comforts the soul." So very cool. And let's take a look at the fabric that I bought. So the first one is this darling fabric with all of the teapots and tea. And this one for the lining is the tea bags. I don't know what I'm making with this yet, but this is my personal souvenir. So I will make something for myself out of these two. And then they had this beautiful holiday room with tons of holiday fabric. So I picked up some more holiday fabric for our holiday bags next year. And we got hot cocoa and tea and coffee. And then this beautiful snowflake fabric. I don't think I have a lot of red accent fabrics, so I got 2 yards of this. So we might be able to get 2 bags out of this, or I can use this with another fabric. And then I also got this darling one with the mittens and the hats. And I got this one to go with it with little fall kind of vibes. So those two together. So I got 2 yards of this one as well. We can either make 2 bags out of this or get another lining for another bag. And you already saw the minis, but I've balled them all up. I need to find the pattern for the crocheted garland. I saw one that had leaves and acorns and things like that, but I don't know where it was, so I have to re-find it. We can make that, and then I've already balled up the Leicester, I gotta find out how to pronounce that name, the not Highland wool, the other one was Highland wool. The blue Leicestershire wool. And this is where we're at so far. It's very cool. So this is called the Here Comes the Sun scarf. And it's kind of a similar color palette to what she used. It was a little hard to get started and I couldn't find a video tutorial. So it was a challenge to start, but I pretty much did all of this yesterday. Isn't that cool? And the yarn is changing color, and it just has these cute little baubles on the end of every other row. So you do the baubles as you go. So at this rate, I should have that finished by the end of the weekend, which is nice. Also working on the fish tank. I have to get the water tested before we do anything. I might wait another week for that and give it time to develop the beneficial bacteria. And other than that, we just had a beautiful trip. It was so nice to be out in nature under the canopy and the pine trees and the river and the rain, and it just really felt like fall, which we don't really get here in Southern California. So it was really nice to experience that. And I realized that we don't take a lot of foresty vacations. We tend to be on the coast all the time, or in Hawaii. So it's kind of nice to actually be in the forest canopy and just have that feeling, that cozy hug of nature around us. Next thing I've got coming up is I'm going to take a week off before Christmas. So I work at a community college, and they graciously give us the week between Christmas and New Year's off, paid, which is wonderful. But the week before that's pretty much dead. Classes have already ended, and it's just like not that much going on. And I like to take that week off because I'm doing Vlogmas, and I like to go out and about and holiday lights and baking and all the fun stuff before Christmas gets going. And I have a lot of scrapbooking to catch up on. This trip makes another trip that I'm behind scrapbooking. I tend to only scrapbook actual vacations now and not daily life, but I've got 4 vacations now that I am behind. So I think maybe 5. It's piling up. So I need to get those going. And we also get a week paid off in April. So I'm trying to plan out what I want to do in April since I'm not going anywhere over Christmas. So that's what's going on with me. I hope you're having a wonderful fall and experiencing all the things that fall has to offer, and that you're cozy and curled up. So go ahead and grab yourself a cozy beverage or a water, curl up, and let's get started with this week. Okay, next on the agenda is to separate all my remnants out into stacks for smaller bags that we're going to make. So we've got the Maya wristlet, which has a lot of pieces, so I might not have enough to make one of those from this pile. But we also have the clematis wristlet, the pencil pouches, oh, and our coin purses. So we got to figure out what we have enough of. I'm going to have to find another fabric to go with this because I think there's enough for a project bag. Yeah, there should be enough for a project bag here, or at least a pyramid pouch. So we'll do that. Maybe a sock bag out of that. I'll keep this with it just because, I mean, we're probably going to have to get different fabric for that. We can probably do something out of this as well. Like maybe the clematis wristlet. I'm not going to have enough of this fabric for that. Actually, let me go get those pattern pieces because there's really no way to tell without having the pattern pieces with me. Okay, so here are the 2 other patterns that we can try. So we got the clematis wristlet, which I usually use, like I could use denim or cork for the bottom. So we don't necessarily need the bottom piece. So we basically need this size of the lining, this of the exterior, and then something for a pocket. So we could easily get that out of this fabric. And that might be nice. I don't know if I have enough for the lining though. Yeah, see, I'm not going to have enough for the lining. I think we do have enough for the lining. That would be pretty in this fabric. Okay, so that, and then we have a wristlet strap as well. So yeah, I think I've got enough pieces of this. So we'll put this in the clematis pile. And then the noodle head, I don't have the pieces for that with me right here, but they're pretty small. We've got a 6x18 piece and a 6x12 accent. And the lining is a fat quarter, so that's pretty small. Now I can't remember what size I made these at, which is not good. I had a Post-it at some point where I wrote it down. I want to say they were 5 by 7, which means I need to make them 5.5 by 7.5. And then I need 2 pieces of each of the lining and the exterior. And I think we're just going to go through and rip roll these. I think I am going to go ahead and put a little loop on them and add these just to make them more flexible. So I've still got quite a chunk left over here. And as most of you know, I'm still dreaming of making a real quilt at some point. So I have kept any scraps that are like larger than an inch for the future quilt project. Well, I totally forgot about the zipper tabs. Okay, so this zipper is only an inch wide. So normally for the bigger zippers I do a 2 by 2 or a 2 by 1.5, but we really only need a 2 by 1 in this case. So let's go ahead and cut ourselves one of those, or 2 of those rather. We'll make it 1.5 just to be safe. We can cut off the excess later. But this Juki is a workhorse, let me tell ya. If you're ever in the market for a machine, it's a little pricier than like a normal garment machine, but it's also works a lot harder. It's mostly metal, so it doesn't have a lot of plastic parts, so it just lasts a lot longer. So really could not be an easier project, and you can make these as big as small as you want to. I just settled on the 5 by 7 size because I tried a couple sizes and this is the one I liked the most, but it's user preference. So if you have a size that you like better, you can make that. You can make it a little bigger. You can make it more of a makeup pouch and have it be like 6 by 8, 8 by 9, like whatever you want it to be. I've got several other tools besides the chopstick that work for pushing corners out. The other end of my stiletto has this nice little point there that kind of works as a seam pusher. I've also got this guy as a quilting tool. What is he? I don't know what he's called. It's a clover tool. So you've got this kind of nice edge where you can push things into a corner. You've also got the point. I find that the point is too pointy for this, but I do like the other side. So I'm just gonna push those points out as much as I can without ripping the stitches. Be easier if we turned the lights off for a second, huh? Nothing beats my chopstick. What I should do is I should take the other chopstick and put it in this room. I'm just feeling too lazy to get up and actually get the chopstick. But I want those points to be super defined. Maybe we'll use the pointy edge. Living dangerously. Since this is such a small project, you really want to pay attention to the details here. There's no reason for you not to take the extra time to make sure this is as clean as possible. And then we're going to poke out our zipper tabs. Oh, that looks nice. I think that was just the right length for that. I hate it when they flip like this. There we go. That's actually perfect. That's very clean. And then I'm just going to sew. I'm going to poke the lining ones out so that I can get a nice flat surface to sew my lining closed. So we're just going to sew our lining closed and then we're done. And there we have it. Just need to give it a good press. I do like the addition of the clip. I think that was a really good idea that somebody suggested. It would just be really handy to have it where you can clip it in, especially if you're using this as like a notions bag in a much larger bag, or you just have a coin purse in your tote bag. You can also use this as a little makeup purse, hold your cords when you're traveling. My sister likes to get the little pouches and put all of her electronic cords in them. So that works very nicely. The only problem is that if I'm using something other than a silver zipper, I only can find silver ones of these little dinky ones. Yay, first one done, and now we can start cutting out all the pieces. Hey friends, so I wanted to share with you the finished scarf. I just flew through this. So the yarn was a little tricky because of the way that it was wound. And then it had some knobbly thick parts and some thin parts. So I don't know that I would use this yarn again, but it turned out beautiful. And I love the little baubles on the edge of every other row. So that turned out really cute, so I can start wearing that. And that is the Here Comes the Sun scarf from Melu Crochet. I downloaded the pattern on Etsy, so I will link that below for you. And that means we get to wind up the yarn and start the next one. What I should really do is finish the 2 scarves I have going right now, or the 2 shawls, but I really want to work on these new ones, so that's what I'm going to do. So next we are going to wind up this beautiful yarn that I got on vacation. This is Dandelion and Daisies, and it is the Degas colorway, as in the painter. And it's 100 grams superwash merino, 246 yards. So should be able to make a nice project with that. And we are going to make the apple cider shawl. So it's this really pretty shawl with like little offset fans. And this is by Fiberflux. And I just downloaded the pattern. I tend to grab the free pattern off the blog and copy all the text and everything. But it's $4 and I watch her videos all the time and I want to support her. So I'm just going to buy the patterns from now on. That's also on Etsy, so I will link this one down below. But she's got a full tutorial for this. Okay, we have 14 ready to sew together. So I'm just gonna put light colors with light colors. I think these are all pretty different except maybe the purples, the 2 reds, the 2 oranges will probably go together. So that's the idea. So we're gonna sew these together. Oh no, I was just filming my what's in my bag and I took this out to lay it out and look at this. It is so wonky. I don't know what I did other than try and do this on vacation, but this is so wonky. I'm gonna have to tear all this apart. Plus, I was getting worried because some of these bars are not lining up correctly. So I'm just wondering if, like, this is the third triangle shawl I've tried to make, and I don't seem to do well with triangle shawls. One of the reasons is I gotta constantly count, and your count gets bigger and bigger as the shawl gets bigger and bigger. It just keeps growing. Whereas with my rectangle projects, it's just back and forth, back and forth. So I don't know if that's why or what. I really liked the look of this pattern. It looks a little old lady-ish, especially in this color palette. So I'm not sure what to do. I've got a million patterns that I can try that are not triangle shawls. So I might break one of those out and see if I can get that to work, but that's kind of depressing. And my other scarf is coming along. I just don't know that I like these colors together, so I'm kind of in the same boat I was in the first time I tried this project. It's just such a big, they don't really transition very well. So I just gotta live with the fact these two transition very well. And then I've got two left, so I have to decide. I think I'm gonna go with the green just to tie it back into the first one. And then we'll just leave this one out because we do not have space for this one. So that's coming along. I'm on the 4th of 5 colors, so that's good. And of course, because I like to have a million projects going at once, I started a project with the new yarn. So I wanted to get this done so I can wear it for fall as well. This one's turning out really nice. So this is the apple cider shawl from Fiberflex. She's got a full tutorial for it, and it's pretty easy. I mean, it's like 3s and 7s, so pretty easy. And I love this definition, even in this variegated yarn. It's just a really pretty pattern. I made it kind of wide, so I'm going to be playing yarn chicken here. I've only got 2 skeins. But I figure even if it's more of a cowl size, it doesn't need to be like a really long scarf because I got a ton of those. So maybe this turns into more of a cowl or an infinity scarf kind of thing. So that was good. So a couple of wins for each loss that I have. And like my husband likes to say, this is my Buddhist practice of impermanence. Everything is impermanent. So we will be tearing this apart for a second time with this yarn and trying to find another pattern to go with this pretty yarn. I'm glad I just caught that before I went too far because I didn't even think about checking. I just thought I was doing it correctly. Hey friends, so that's it for this week. Let's take a look at our 15 coin purses. I decided to go ahead and put my labels on them. I don't normally label the littler things, but figured it was probably a good idea. So we have the bicycles, the nitty kitties, the flowers, the chickens, the Mediterranean oranges, the cool cats. Just reminds me of, was it Aristocats? That reminds me of. We've got the baking one. More cats in the windowsill. Some more flowers. And the Madame Leona Haunted Mansion one. And then the Alice in Wonderland. Alice kind of got her head cut off, but the back has a whole Alice, so that's good. And then we have Mickey Mouse. And more Mickey and Minnie, old-fashioned Mickey and Minnie. You have a very pretty floral with some metallic accents. And one more flower. So that's it for all the coin purses. So we've got a huge stack of coin purses. I think this should be enough for the show. I'll probably make some more for the yarn crawl next year, just because I've got a lot of those fabrics. We'll be taking the remnants from last year's fabrics for the yarn crawl and making some sock bags and then some coin purses, which will be rebranded as notions pouches for that group. And that's it for that. Let's take a look at our second scarf, which is turning out to be more of a cowl. So let's take, oh, that's the wrong bag. I put the lavender yarn in this. I think for the lavender yarn, we might be doing this one. It's another Fiberflex pattern, a heathered eyelets wrap. It kind of looks like the one I was doing, except it's rectangular, and it's two double crochets and then 2 spaces for the eyelet. I might want to rework this into the one, like 2 space, 1, 2 space, but then I gotta like recount everything and figure that out, so I'm not sure. Okay, this is the one that has the fall cowly thing. So I am almost out of yarn. Whoa! So I'm almost out of yarn. It's pretty big. We might just make this the kind of thing where I get a button. I haven't done that yet, so maybe we will have it like offset with a button or something. So that might be nice. Instead of, I don't know that I want to sew it all together and be a cowl. I kind of like the flexibility. And I have these cool, big, chunky, I don't know if they're wood or just look like wood. Wooden buttons, so we'll try that out. And I just looked up some fall garlandy type things that I'm going to try and make. So we've got some maple leaves, oak leaves, acorns, that kind of thing. So I thought that would be cute to do with our minis. So I'll probably do that before we try and figure out a pattern for the lavender yarn, but that's coming. And yeah, that's about it. So next weekend I've got a Halloween birthday party kind of thing. So I've really only got one day to work on things, which is perfect because we're gonna do some sachets next. So I got a big stack of leftover yarn. We already made some sachets. So I think what I'm gonna do is start with the Christmassy start with the Christmassy fabric and make some out of that and then see what we get up to with the other leftovers. And yeah, so that's about it. I also want to try getting back into my coloring. I haven't done any coloring lately, and it is kind of a nice stress reliever to sit down and do that. Especially, I've been doing so much crochet. I kind of want to give the crochet muscles a break. I know holding the pen is still, but at least that'll give one hand a break anyway. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you have a wonderful week ahead. And I hope to see you back here next Saturday. Love you, friends. Bye.